The latest on the SNC-Lavalin affair and where the Liberals and the Conservatives go from here. Let's get some insight. And Alex Maheu of Summa Strategies joins us. Good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you.
I guess there was really no news yesterday. We knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, what we see here is political grandstanding, really from the opposition, right? We're on the eve of the election. There's about 2 months before the election. They see an opportunity here to kind of stretch this SNC-Lavalin affair out as much as possible and try to get it out into the media. And, you know, it's just a political game at this point.
Right, and the Conservatives are chipping away because, let's face it, it doesn't look good for the Liberals, the Prime Minister in particular, but it's not resonating with voters. The polls show, in fact, the latest almost contraire.
That's right, yeah. The latest polls are showing that the Liberals and the Conservatives are neck and neck. They're all at 32% of the popular vote. There was actually a poll that came out from Abacus Data yesterday that showed that the Ethics Commissioner's report had little to no impact on the political landscape whatsoever. So for the Liberals and their brand, this is actually good news.
So the theory here is that the hit that the Liberals took the first time around is probably the same of people who are disappointed in Justin Trudeau now. Because, again, I say this is old news. It's not old news, but the damage has been done prior to the
Yeah, I think people made up their minds in the spring when this all came out the first time. And so this time around with the Ethics Commissioner's report, it doesn't seem to be hitting a second wave.
So why aren't the Conservatives dropping this? We have Pierre Poilievre coming on in the next hour. I know what he's going to tell me, and he's right, but apparently the voters are like, this is not the most important issue for me.
Well, this report for the Conservatives was really like Christmas Day for them, right? It was a gift that was given to them right before the election. So they're going to try to want to use whatever the findings are that the Prime Minister allegedly broke, you know, the conflict of interest rules. They're going to try to play that, I think, into the elections. They're going to have to be very, very careful, though, because from what we're seeing in the polls, Canadians are kind of getting a little bit tired of hearing about this. They've made up their mind already. They want to focus on the pocketbook issues, the affordability issues that matter to them in their day-to-day lives. So the Conservatives are going to have to try to find a balance, I think, in the upcoming election with that.
I'm wondering if in the war room in Conservative circles these days are saying this could be the knockout punch come debate time.
I think it could have been a knockout punch if this report would have came out a little bit later, maybe in September or even early October. I think that would have been really good for them in terms of timing, but there's still 2 months before the election. In the spring, when the SNC-Lavalin affair kind of came out, it was in the media for about a month and a half, and then it kind of just dissipated, and nobody really talked about it. So I have a feeling that that might be the case again this time around.
So the Prime Minister didn't apologize. He took full responsibility. We're going to see that the Conservatives are going to try and push this and get this in the news as long as they can, despite the fact that it's really not resonating with voters. Is he ever going to apologize, or is that strategy ever going to change and put this to bed, or are we in it for the long haul here?
I kind of have mixed feelings about this. Yeah. Originally, when it first came out, I thought he should have apologized to Jody Wilson-Raybould, the former Minister of Justice. That being said, now that he's accepted the report and refuses to apologize, I think it would be disingenuous for him to do so at this point in time. He fundamentally thinks that he did nothing wrong. He wanted to save Canadian jobs, to the tune of 9,000. And he thinks that, you know, he did whatever he had to do to try to save these jobs.
We're not sure that jobs would have been lost, right? I remember that, too. That's the other side says, hey, we're not 100% sure here. But, you know, it's interesting because desperate times call for desperate measures. And I think of Kathleen Wynne. Remember she apologized?
Yes.
And she got another majority.
She did.
So Canadians, we love to apologize. And if someone takes responsibility, we give them kudos.
Yeah, I think he's going to try a different tactic this time around. I think he's just going to stick with his lane about jobs, 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 and he's going to see if that resonates with Canadians.
I also think that we're tired as voters in this country of the attacks. We're tired of the negativity, whether it comes from the left or the right. And I think that's part of the problem here, is that we just want to find out what you will do for us. This is not the #1 issue. And I don't understand why one side seems to get it, but the other side at this point doesn't.
Well, you know, for the Conservatives, I think that they would do right by actually talking about the positives that they can bring to Canadians in the upcoming election, and that's what I was mentioning. They're going to have to find a middle ground between attacking the Prime Minister and his brand, and then also talking about what they would do if they were in power. And the Liberals are just going to have to talk about their record for the past 4 years and hope that that's enough for them.